So here I am winning. I don't know if you win it. Receiving the Hall of Fame. I'm an inductee into the Hall of Fame. It's weird to say, but it was random because I didn't expect it. They don't tell you, they just surprise you. And I'll be honest, I was really locked into the fights. I wasn't thinking about this at all. So I think what made me the happiest actually receiving it was being next to Weidman and Bisping and seeing how happy they were for me. That honestly, that's why I hugged them, because you could see how genuinely happy they were for me. And that for me hit the hardest because they're former champions. I respect them, obviously. I know they just what they've done in the sport. They were around me when I was winning. We were competing at the same time. So it was special to have them, but to see them, those type of competitors, some of the most competitive human beings on earth is what they are. When they give you the look of like respect and that I earned it, that was probably what really locked me into it. So I was really glad they were there because it's hard to receive stuff like that. There's no like there's nothing to bounce it off of, but fellow warriors and competitors like that next to me really like locked it in for me. And so I was glad they were there, and the fans, when everybody's looking at you and their cameras are out and they're doing the video of you, it was very surreal. It's like anybody who's ever had that dream where you're asleep and you're walking down the hallway or whatever, there's movies about this and everybody's cheering you on and the lights are on you and stuff. It feels like that. It's like a dream. And then it all ends, right? And they go, okay, let's start the fights. And then you turn around and like real life hits again, but you're not in real life. There's a whole TV set that you're on. It was wild. It was very strange, like an alternate reality. Then you go back and then they start measuring you while you're watching the fights. So I'm watching the fights live to prepare for the desk show. So I can't really miss the fights that are going on. I need to lock in and watch them, but they're measuring me. So I'm getting measured for the Hall of Fame jacket and the pants and stuff. And they're asking me questions, but I'm also trying to watch the fights with intent. And I'm also actually enjoying the fights. So it was just a lot going on. And I remember asking them to video this because I knew there was so much going on that I was like, can you video this? This is a weird, this is a crazy moment where I get to watch. It's just so many cool things that I could have never dreamed about. Getting to watch fights, number one, where I was at, epic. Just being where I'm at on that desk, getting to talk about other fighters, epic. The suit that I'm wearing, I never thought I'd see myself in a nice suit. I'm in a suit. Getting fitted for a new Hall of Fame jacket. These are just all things that were like, wow, it was very, very crazy, very different. What they were measuring me for, from what I understood, because remember, there's a lot going on. They're just like, we need to measure you. And I said, okay, what? Like, measure me for the jacket. And I picture right off the top of my head, I just picture the green jacket that they get for the PGA Tour, like one of those or something, but I haven't seen them. I think it's like one of those green jackets, a Hall of Fame. I don't know though. I couldn't tell you, but they just told me that they needed to measure me for that. They got my pants, all that. So what I remember, I think I saw Jose Aldo and maybe a couple other guys come out in theirs, and I think it is just like some sort of outfit. I don't know. We'll see, but I'll wear it. We'll see how it goes. I'm super grateful, but it's definitely still sinking in. And I think what makes it the most special is just seeing how happy other people are for me. That's a genuine thing people don't fake. When they come to you and they say congratulations and they're happy for you, you can tell when people mean it, and they mean it when they come to me. So I'd have to say that's what makes the experience the funnest, is seeing how happy people are that I was inducted. So thank you guys. That's what makes it special. And
Cruz got
Bisping
inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, and I do believe I'm going to get an exclusive.
Of course, Bisping's going to be the first to pimp me out.
Here he is. Here he is. Look at this
That's
guy.
what I got to say.
There's one guy who could pimp me out. It would be Bisping.
Oh, 100%. Dominick, how's it feel, buddy?
I don't know, man. You tell me. How did it feel for you, honestly? Let's see if we can relate on this. For you, how was it?
Well, let's do this from both on. Well, that's very kind of you. It was a shock, but I don't know if I expected it, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? I was like, I paid my dues.
Yeah.
I fought for long enough.
Yeah.
I've got the injuries. I've got one eye. I've got no knees. You're the same. You got tons of injuries.
Hearing you say that, that's what it feels like, Bisping. It's like me, you, and Weidman, all former champions, and we were talking up there, and all of us have titanium parts in our bodies.
Yes.
Titanium knees. I have a titanium left arm, and Chris Weidman has a titanium shin. And these are the things that happen to you when you break yourself in the sport, right? So, yes, earned 14 different surgeries through my career. Not proud of that, being the most injured champion and fighter, one of the most injured, but making it through and coming out and winning on top is what I'm grateful for God giving me the strength to do. And thanks for being here with me.
Well, congratulations.
Been a better guy to do it with, bro.
Truly deserved. Truly deserved.
I know we talk a lot of shit, but just so everybody knows, as mad as we get at each other, we love each other.
It's absolutely true. Congrats, man. Congrats, brother.
So yeah, that's the best way to put it. That's how I couldn't have said it any better. And like I said, it's so much easier when you have somebody like Bisping or Weidman to share the experience with, because there's no way to describe to somebody who hasn't been through the practices, pretty much the training, they can like really understand that when you get there. It's kind of like when I won my title. I'll never forget, when I won my title versus TJ Dillashaw, walking out of the octagon with it, and then going and doing an interview, and then finishing the interview, and then holding the belt. And it was right after Ariel asked me, is this the most important day of your life? Like, it was a good question, because generally I might have said that before I had won the belt. But then after going through the training camp for that belt, it like didn't add up. Like, having that for what I had gone through to get it, I did much more than what the thing presented to me when I had it. Like, I felt like I went through so much more stress and pain and anguish, whatever you want to call it, to get that thing than what it was worth when I received it. And so when Ariel asked me, is this the greatest day of your life? It was, no, it's realizing that I don't need this belt to be happy, because it didn't make me more happy in that moment. It actually was like a little underwhelming. I was a little disappointed in how concussed I was at the moment, how many times I allowed myself to get, hit in that fight, because that was something I took pride in, is not getting hit so much. How much just damage I had taken in general. I was really upset about that. And I remember thinking that, just how upset I was that I let myself get beat up like that, even to that extent. And those are the thoughts that came over me. So you kind of go through so much pain, it almost is underwhelming to receive the gift sometimes. Not trying to be rude or anything by any means. It means the world because you get it. But then you kind of match up. It's like, okay, yeah, Hall of Fame. It's like, yeah. I mean, not like guaranteed I had it or anything. Thank God I was inducted. But then when I look at the track of work that I've done over the past, over 20 years of choosing this route, it adds up. It definitely was a lot. And I'm proud that I was able to make it, because I don't know if I would have made it if I would have known what I was going to have to go through to get here. I don't know if I would have known ahead of time how many surgeries I was going to have, how many people I was going to have to create boundaries in front of, separate from, just directions that I was going to have to go. I don't know if I would have been able to do it, but we're here, and I'm so grateful. And I thank God every day for the gifts to do it. I said early on before I started this whole thing, God, please, if you give me the gifts to get this stuff done, I promise you, I'm going to live the best I can to be a positive example the way you would want me to live, because you give me the gifts. And so I'm doing my best to live at that. Of course, nobody's perfect, but these are the little things you can give back, and that's all I have control over. And so that's where I'm here trying to do my best in. And now I get to talk about fights. So that's my job now, and it's fun. So let's get talking about that.
Dominick the Dominator!
That is the dark sides of us that don't work, but they work perfectly for war. You can love somebody and still beat them up. UFC 324 was a lot of fun. I think my favorite part of UFC 324 was the prelims. It started so fast. There were so many finishes early on, and they were in the first round. And that happens so often with these big cards. The prelims just show up and blow the doors off. And the main card didn't as much as the prelims. The prelims showed up way crazier than the main card, but it was still as a whole a really fun card. Let's start with Paddy and Gaethje though at the top of the fight card. Gaethje obviously defeats Pimblett, and the last time he fought was against Fiziev in 2025 in Gaethje. And so people had a lot of questions. I mean, he was off of a win on that one. People had a lot of doubts because of the Holloway knockout, the way that he got just beat up in that fight. And we hadn't seen Paddy in a war like this. So that's what we were all looking forward to. But right off the bat, what I was thinking in this fight was going to happen is actually what happened, which is this early pressure of Gaethje right here. And notice how you can hit Gaethje, but Gaethje can hit you too. I know that sounds silly, but he stays in that fire zone. So I guess the best way to put it is if you had weapons, they're just close enough that they could both hit each other, and Gaethje's willing to do that. He's willing to get right in the zone where he's like, I know you have better aim, but I have better aim too. And he stays in that fire zone, and that creates a lot of havoc, a lot of pressure for fighters if you don't have a ton of experience in these wars. Gaethje's so confident of the way that he can go through wars that he puts himself in those very dangerous fire zones, knowing that the stress, the panic, the pain, excuse me, and the damage will stress out his opponent more than it will him. He banks on that. And that's why he's a favorite, because he stays in the fire zone, and it's not just like him doing it to the other guy. He's in a danger place. He's in a danger place for every weapon there is. And when I say this, I mean Gaethje. I mean knees, elbows, kicks, punches. Look, see how close their feet are? Now, right now they're at kick range, but he's back in the fire zone. He stays. Gaethje's always taking those couple steps forward. He doesn't circle a lot. Right here, he's circling, but this is all the way in the third round. Now he's getting the pressure. So the pressure of Gaethje is, for me, what won him this fight. He knew he needed to pressure. See how he's heading him off and not letting Paddy do a whole ton of circling? Those things add up. Paddy wants the space. He wants that kick range. So when Gaethje can get into this boxing range that you're seeing right here, where his hands can connect, it's stressful for Paddy, and that's why he's backing up, because he wants space for the knees and he wants space for the kicks, because his boxing isn't quite as good as Gaethje's. So when Gaethje keeps it in boxing range, it puts more havoc, more pressure, more stress. Also, go back to that front headlock, please. This front headlock for anybody at home is way underrated right here. How he holds it, he tucks the arm. You'll see him punching, and then he'll tuck his head. See how he tucks his head in the armpit there? He'll punch, and then tuck his head in the armpit. And when he does that, it keeps the front headlock secure, so that even see how he shoves the elbow. So when Gaethje does that, it keeps Paddy very uncomfortable. You can't breathe super well when you're there. Like, you can breathe, but it's just annoying, and all their weight's on top of you, so you don't want to be here. And then you're getting hit. So again, that's more stress. And that's a positional loss for Paddy. And these positional losses just wear on your energy. Most people use this front headlock to take the back, throw the hook in, right? Why doesn't Gaethje do that? That's where Armin Sarukian says he has many opportunities to finish. But what Gaethje wants to do is just make it grimy, make it ugly, make it exhausting. He wants to hang on you, drag you into deep water. He said this in the fight. Letting him up after he sits him down like that is a dragging somebody into deep water scenario. In wrestling, it's called cutting somebody. You take him down, you cut him. You take him down, you cut him. You take him down, you cut him. And it makes for an exciting match, because you take the guy down and then you let him up and you take him down, and it's an art. Gaethje kind of has that with his striking. He just wants to create the max amount of damage, because that's what the fight's scored on, is who gets the most damage. And he stays in the fire zone to create that damage. Now against Paddy, that's what this fight was about, was how will he weather the storm of this type of war, like a real war of attrition style fight. The last time he had it was Jared Gordon, and it really tested him. And he said he underestimated Jared Gordon. Well, he didn't underestimate Gaethje at all. He came prepared for this fight, Paddy, and he got tested and he lost. And I think that a lot of people said his star power would disappear, this and that. I think his stock will rise. Paddy will be, he'll be fine. He'll be back up top, because he has such a good presence with the crowd and with his personality. He'll be good. And I love this for Gaethje, because he needed this more than I think Paddy did. I think Paddy's got some time to live. I think Gaethje needed this win more, and now he can move to the next step. This is where experience played the difference. See, here he is in that front headlock again. That front headlock multiple times. Instead of running to the back, he goes to the front headlock. See, right there. And he's just dragging him down. And I'm telling you, you don't know unless you're in it. I tell people, like, I tell my friends, like, man, you keep pissing me off. I'm just going to front headlock you and just keep you there for about 30 seconds. Sometimes you just want to grab your friends and just snap their head down like that. And then just squeeze the shit out of them and fucking bounce their head off the floor a little bit because they're being silly. And it doesn't really mess them up. It just like, it's just enough where it's embarrassing. When you're in that front headlock position, and you're like this, and your arms are up, and it's like kind of embarrassing and annoying, and it's exhausting, and you know it's not where you want to be, but you're there anyways. So that's this position right here. This is like slowly taking the wind out of the sails of somebody. Look at all these elbows. I mean, it was a pretty good ass whooping for 5 rounds. It really was. It wasn't super competitive. It was Gaethje to me most of the fight. The best things that I saw from Paddy are the knees. I believe that the reason his elbows were so far out, see how his elbows are sticking out? And look at how Gaethje's elbows are kind of in. That's because he's got Paddy moving back. And Paddy's looking so much for those knees that you got to kind of have your elbows out to throw that knee up the middle and to keep the balance. But he always has this style where his elbows are out, and that's what changes the trajectory of his punches in Paddy. But it's also what makes him so hard to read. Like, he landed that left hand. He's in a southpaw stance. He doesn't have a whole lot of rhyme or rhythm or reason to his striking. It's kind of like clunky, but he's powerful. He's durable. He is fast when he throws the strike, but it's usually 1 or 2 at a time at most. It's not like big combinations. When you see Gaethje, he's throwing long flowing combinations, and this front headlock, I'm telling you, it's way underrated. This is exhausting to just sit there. So I love the work Gaethje did. He used his experience in this fight. That's what won it. Experience. Taking it to the deep waters. The way he said, the pressure won the fight more than it's not always about the tools that you use. Sometimes the pressure is the tool. You don't need all these sweet moves. You just need good pressure, good defense. And that's what Gaethje used. And then he used that good pressure and good defense to get Paddy to open up. And then that opened up Gaethje's offense from there. Seasoned vet. And now he's I believe a 2-time interim champion. And I can't wait to see what Gaethje does next with this, because like I said, he needed this a little bit more. I think Paddy's got another couple runs in him to get back to this title conversation. If he can, get back on the horse after this. But don't forget, you got Arman Tsarukyan waiting around the corner for all these guys. And I do believe he could literally fight maybe both those guys in a night. He's good right now. He looks really good. His grappling's sick. He's in shape. He's young. He's pissed off. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's doing the whole runs with the media. So, and the reason I say both these guys in one night is not to put those guys down, but because tournaments have happened, and he has a tournament style. Arman Tsarukyan. He has a style that could win like a 3 fight in a night style, because he can grapple so well. He can wrestle, pressure, keep the wrestling going, keep the pressure going, not take a ton of damage, and then get to the next fight. So he's got that's how he would fight both these guys. He would wrestle the shit out of them. Of course he can strike, but I think he would definitely try to out-grapple him. So I want to see how Gaethje stacks up to that level of grappling. He got taken down by Khabib the last time. He got submitted by Khabib, and that's the same style that Arman's going to present to Gaethje if he gets to fight him. Now, obviously, Gaethje wants to fight Ilia Topuria for the title. Ilia's getting his ducks in a row. And when he does, I think that's a very hard fight for Gaethje. I think it's just as hard of a fight for him versus Ilia as it is for Arman. And that's why it's in Gaethje's best interest to fight Ilia right off the bat, because he gets to go straight for the belt instead of having to fight Arman before the belt, without the belt, and with Arman, it's no belt opportunity, obviously. But Arman, for those of you who don't know, he pulled out of a fight on the same night's notice because his back locked up. You really want to piss off Dana, that's exactly how you do it. So he kind of messed himself up on that one, and he's going to have to work his way back from it. But when he does, I mean, he will. He's staying competing too. He's not just sitting on the outside like a lot of guys do, waiting and crying. He just does all his media. I mean, he's got a lot of money from what I've heard. I don't know. I don't actually know him well enough to know how much money or if that's true. But from what I've seen on the internet, it looks like he's got a lot of money. So I'm sure he's not hurting, doesn't have to fight. He can just keep doing these wrestling tournaments. He can keep doing media blitzes and just love his life and enjoy it and know how dangerous he is, and then get the opportunity when it comes. A lot of fighters we're just dying for that paycheck because we don't have a job and we're living on floors and we just need the fight for the money. And so those are the types of fighters that get leveraged into fights that don't mean as much. But Armand isn't really that type. I think he's got things figured out. So we'll see how that goes. Hey guys, I got to tell you about this new wallet I got. It's in royal black. It's called a Ridge wallet. And the reason I love it is it's like got a hard case on it. So if anybody tries to get crazy with me, I can hold it in my hand and give them a pop in the mouth. Beyond that, which is the number one thing you need a wallet for, it's like a filing cabinet that goes into your pocket. You can hold 12 different cards, it feels like, in that thing, and it's like this thin when you're done with it. I used to have this giant wallet that would have to sit in one side and you're like sitting like halfway on it, halfway off, hurts your back. This Ridge wallet, you can put it in any of your pockets. You don't see it. It's not sticking out. And like I said, you can fit a lot in it and it's in very little space. So make sure you guys are grabbing one. It's made from premium materials like aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, over 50 plus colors and styles to choose from. And no matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code DOMLW at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code DOMLW, and you're all set. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. You want to eat better, but you have zero time and zero energy to make it happen. Factor doesn't ask you to meal prep or follow recipes. It just removes the entire problem. 2 minutes, real food, done. My favorite thing about these meals is pretty much everything it just said. 2 minutes, ready the problem, just move right through it and get moving, because I have a life that's nonstop. And you don't always want to meal prep. We all know that. That's where these companies come from with these awesome meal preps all over the world, is people don't want to go home and cook their meals. Well, with Factor, you can factor in all the nutrition that you need, mixed with the amount of food that you need, mixed with the time that you need, and get yourself moving on the day with eating healthy, without eating fast food, without filling yourself full of a bunch of crap. My favorite one is the cilantro chicken. It's got the rice, the chicken, the vegetables, protein, carb, vegetable. It's basic, but good flavor. Everything stays in there. Head to factormeals.com/Dom50off and use code Dom50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. So let's get into Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong, the co-main event. It was supposed to be Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. They were supposed to be the co-main event. That would have been 5 rounds. But because this fight got moved from the main card from the main, under the co-main event to the co-main event, it stayed 3 rounds, which I like, because O'Malley wanted to get some momentum going again. And I personally thought that 5 rounds against Song would have been better for O'Malley. I thought the 3-round matchup was a better opportunity for Song, because he can sprint. But one thing he didn't do well to me is he didn't sprint fast enough in this first round. I think if you're in a 3-round fight, you have to start extremely fast, and you got to just, it goes from being a 100-yard dash to a 40-yard dash, and that race is ran differently if you're a runner, right? 40 yards, you got to come out the gate faster, you got to finish harder. And in a 100-yard dash, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit longer run, obviously, so you got to conserve a little energy. Well, I think Song started this first round at a 5-round pace, and he needed to start at a 3-round pace against an O'Malley who relies on space, timing, range, and footwork. With those things, you can pressure through those in 3 rounds and overwhelm with pressure if you're Song and takedowns like this, you can do that early on if you start with it. But he kind of waited till the end of the round to start to get the wrestling in, and he kind of waited a little late in that round. He started a little slow for me. Second round, it was much more competitive, and you could see that Song kind of had the timing and the read a little bit better, so he started pressuring a little bit more. And you could see how he eats one and then fires back. Those are keys for him. Being the shorter fighter, you have to wait to get touched and then fire a combination. See, off that, he'll wait for O'Malley to hit him, and then he'll branch his combinations off of that. And that's because O'Malley is hard. If you try to attack him first, he'll get you reaching, and then he'll counter you. So if Song would wait for O'Malley's attack and then counter that, it keeps from him getting countered himself, which was a smart read. They had a lot of good tactics they used in this fight. And I personally love these takedown attempts. It breaks the rhythm. It breaks the timing. I think the issue is that, you know, the argument here is he got the takedowns but did nothing with it. But I think that this is one of the hard things about judging. It is, you don't know how hard it is to get a takedown because they don't wrestle. They're boxing judges that moved to mixed martial arts. So they're only looking at the striking. They're not looking at the takedown as a significant strike, essentially, even though it doesn't do damage. It's the person didn't want to be put on the ground. It costs a lot of energy to stop a takedown and to get a takedown. And I think what Song did was the right thing, because it was close enough on the feet that if you had that takedown in between the rounds, it should support you in the decision. But I don't think the refs gave anything to the takedowns at all. I mean, this is mixed martial arts. It wasn't pure striking. Now, on the other end, O'Malley landed more significant strikes. And you can see by the damage on Song's face. And so by damage and blood, you have to give the fight to O'Malley, because you could see it on the face of Song. And he also has more finishing style blows that he's trying. He's trying the knees up the middle. He's trying with the shots O'Malley's landing the more significant power blows. And I think that that's what the judges were seeing, and that's why it was a competitive enough fight that I don't see it was like a robbery or anything. But I do think that there was definitely a stake to claim in Song winning that fight. But at the third round, he didn't finish strong enough. One, Song ended the fight too slow, in my opinion, and he started the fight too slow. In between was pretty good. And that is the only thing I could say about Song that maybe could have made the difference. And because it's a 3-round fight, that's why it's so important to start and end the fight extremely fast. You cannot slow down. In a 5-round fight, you can kind of have a little bit of a slower pace, take a little bit more time. So on O'Malley's note, this is good for him. He wants to fight the champ right away, of course. I think he should have to fight Umar. I do think that's the fight that should have to happen for him. I don't think they'll do it because he's a great sale. The rematch of Jan, obviously there's a story there. There's no story with Umar and O'Malley. But if we're talking about, you know, who should earn it or whatever, I just personally as a fighter would love to see Umar and O'Malley, because I think they would really, really like challenge each other's mystique. What everybody says about Umar and what everybody says about O'Malley are pretty similar. And I'd like to see them match each other. We've already seen Jan and O'Malley. We've already seen Merab and O'Malley. We've already seen Merab and Umar. You know, we've already seen these. So it's time to see that matchup, see how that goes. Put the other guys at the top. Let Jan fight. Maybe Merab again. I think he earned it. He earned a pretty quick rematch. But if not, putting O'Malley in that fight too wins, you see? So the bantamweight division's on fire right now. I'm excited to see the different matchups that happen, because it's going to be like a bunch of round robins, a bunch of rematches. These guys aren't going to lose to anybody underneath them. These 5 are the best in the division, and it's pretty one-sided to me. Like these 5 are like a lot better than a lot of the divisions. Sandhagen's mixed in there. I can't wait to see Sandhagen fight an O'Malley. I wouldn't mind seeing that too before he gets the title shot against Jan. I wouldn't mind seeing Jan and Sandhagen. So don't forget we got Sandhagen in that mix. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool division, and there's a lot of good shit that's going to happen right here with this. And O'Malley winning is good for the division. Now think about this too. Song slides down in the division, right? But not far. So now you still have this beast in the top 6. So after you slide out of the top 5, good luck getting through Song, who's going to get more pissed off and even better after this fight. I mean, the division's stacked. The next fight that I wanted to talk about too, obviously you got to talk about Cortes and Derrick Lewis. It didn't really go as crazy as I thought it would go. I really did think that Derrick Lewis would at least drop Cortes once in the fight, like to his hands or something at least. But Cortes fought a way smarter fight than I thought he would. He always fights smart though, so I guess that was kind of dumb of me to think he wouldn't do it here. But when I've ever watched people fight Derrick Lewis, he has this style where he gets people to come to him and then he knocks them out. But Cortes didn't fall for it. See how he's always keeping the space? Notice how he's throwing the jab and the calf kick. I thought were going to be the biggest issues for Derrick Lewis because they're rangy weapons. And you see that jab? The jab and the cross. I mean, he's able to land that cross because he's keeping jab space. So what Cortes does is he keeps that jab range. See, he's looking for the jab, and that pulls the weapons out of Derrick Lewis. Now Derrick Lewis, because he's getting jabbed, he's reaching. And when you reach for Cortes-Acosta, he can counter. And that's why he's countering Derrick Lewis on the way in, because he's dictating the range. He's pulling Derrick Lewis in. And Derrick Lewis isn't the best chaser. Derrick Lewis is better at pulling you in. So he kind of flipped the script on Derrick Lewis, got Derrick to come at him a little bit. And then once he missed, now he starts putting the pressure. You see, and what's he pressuring with? He's not pressuring with hooks and big knockout shots. He's touching him with the jab. And look at how he makes a miss. It's because he's only jabbing. When you just jab, you can see all the punches that Derrick's throwing and do this to him because Derrick Lewis is reaching off balanced with power punches, which is how he always fights. But when you got a guy who's using the jab, using range, using his footwork, using his slips, bobs, and weaves fundamentally correct, it will outshine a power brawler 100% of the time, and that's what you saw in this matchup. I picked Cortes to win this fight because of the jab and because of the calf kick. But do you see how just those two weapons are what allowed that right hand, that counter right hand to land? Because he's keeping jab range. So boxing 101. Watch, see that range? He's at jab range, boop, and then touches him, sits him down. And that the reason he sits down so easy is because he's off balance. He's off balance because he's reaching. The reason he's reaching is because the jab hand is out. So again, fundamentals won Cortes that fight. He made it look very easy. Derrick Lewis has the knockout record in the UFC because of how strong he is and how powerful he is. But if you don't let him touch you, it doesn't matter how strong or powerful you are. So you just got to be slick. Keep your fundamentals sound. Don't let him touch you. And that's the recipe to being Derrick Lewis. But it's not. That's a lot easier said than done. Look at that. Back step right hand. It's clean. He made it look easy, guys. So Cortes is there. He's in the title conversation. We'll see how he keeps going. I love watching him fight. He's tough. He talks a lot. Salsa boy. Keep it up. So Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas, a fight happened. Rose, in all fairness, had to switch up on short notice because Grasso pulled out. She got hurt. And now she's got number 2, Natalia Silva, who just beat Grasso to face, which is totally different matchup. I mean, completely different. Silva, look at her footwork. Look how she can fight back up. She's got this sick side kick. An awesome, one of the best side kicks in any women's division. She's got it. And she comes from a Taekwondo background. See how she pokes the knee first? That's what sets up the side kick to the body and the side kick to the face. Karate Hottie used to use the same tactic, but Natalia Silva does it, but she also has good boxing mixed with it. Whereas when we talk about Karate Hottie, she was super good kicker, but the boxing had a little gap to fill. I think that Natalia Silva can box well, kick well, but I do think that Karate Hottie reminds me the most of Natalia Silva's style. The thing is, look at this takedown that Rose Namajunas hits, and that's going to be the issue when she faces Shevchenko. I think that Shevchenko can take her down at will and hold her down if she wants to, if she doesn't really feel those gaps of getting body locked like that. But as you see here, she's dynamic, extremely athletic, spin attacks, fast, good fakes, good feints. It wasn't the most super exciting battle because these girls fight at kick range. They fight kind of far out. And they're technical, and they just try to stay out of the way of damage, which is what I was talking about with the Gaethje fight. When you watch Gaethje, he doesn't ever try to stay safe. He kind of just keeps his hands up, and that's how he stays safe, but he's in the fire. This is an example of when you watch, these women, they're trying to stay safe at all times. They're trying to not even get touched. And I had that mindset too. Don't even let them touch you. And so there's not as much, connection of action there. But the techniques that they're using are fast and sharp, and it's really just because the matchup. They fight very similar. They're like a mirror match. They both use a lot of feints. They both use a lot of footwork. They both use a lot of fakes. And so they're just fake, and trying to find each other the whole time until they connect. I think the reason why Silva wins this fight is she gets a nice throw in this battle and that side kick. Do you see that? That side kick is crazy. It's so good. It's so fast. It's so rangy, and she finds it in the middle. She'll throw like 1, 2, 3, and then a side kick up the middle is just an untraditional combination. Here's a nice headlock she hits. A little bit of a desperation double underhook from Rose Namajunas gets her out of position there. But that was a nice throw. I think that helped her in the decision. And I think the sky's the limit for Silva because she's so hard to hit, because her kicks are so good, because she moves so well around the octagon that will be something that Shevchenko is going to have to adjust to if she gets the title shot next, which I think she will, versus Shevchenko. I think Natalia Silva will get Shevchenko next. I think the issue will be for Natalia Silva is she's got to stop those body lock takedowns that you saw Rose got. Shevchenko will get those same takedowns. She's really used her jiu-jitsu a lot, and she's very heavy on top and very strong. So I think that's what we're going to have to see the gap filled for Natalia Silva. The striking's obviously, their movements there, the side kicks there, the technical ability, the cardio, the mindset, the focus, the weight, all the things, but the grappling. I think that will be the thing that will be challenged, that Shevchenko will really challenge about Silva. And if she can beat somebody like Shevchenko, then we got ourselves a good champion on our hands because Shevchenko is the best right now. No doubt about it. Another one we got to get into is Arnold Allen and Jan Silva. It started a little bit slow, this fight, but to me personally, Jan Silva is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC to watch right now. And the reason is, it's hard to explain, but when you watch a fluent style, when you watch Arnold Allen, he's like more basic, fundamentally sound, right? 1-2s, 1-2-3. When you watch Silva, it's flowy. There's spin attacks mixed into the conventional attacks. His feints, his fakes flow into his attacks. And I love the way that's a good example too. He's hard to hit. He's hard to kick. He makes you miss by the leans. He leans a lot. And it's hard to fight somebody that you can't, that doesn't hold that structure and you hit their arms or hit their body because it throws off your timing. There's another example. Look at the angles. Look at the combination. It was a spin elbow to a combination to a jump knee and then 2 elbows. I mean, that flow that you just saw right there, go back, this flow that he hits is just, it's like when they say be like water, this is an example. Spinning elbow, then body shot mixed into that high kick to a jump knee. Everything about that was rhythmic. It went from jump knee to the right, left elbow. Everything went side by side. Boom, boom. Each right side, left side, left side. You see what I'm saying? So when he does that, that's the flow. Spinning elbow, right side, left side, right side, left side, right side, left side. So that's the flow that I'm talking about. He goes back and forth, but they're weapons in all different directions. High, low, the teep kicks, very creative. His hands stay up. They're not down a lot. Like my hands were always down, and that's how I got you to attack. He keeps his hands up and is still able to feint in, catch things. Look how he's able to catch that foot. That's harder than you think, to get teep kicked and catch the foot. That throws off the rhythm of the guy you're fighting. That throws off an Arnold Allen when you catch the foot like that. Again, the takedown off that, go back. This is not an easy takedown. It's a right hand. And because Arnold Allen's a southpaw, you can tell he practiced these combinations on a southpaw. The way he gets that back leg behind Arnold Allen's after that left hand, that's what gives him the takedown. So watch, see how his leg's behind his? That's because he's practicing with southpaws. You'll see it again right here. He hits like a trip. See, he's always getting behind the lead leg of Arnold Allen with that left leg. That is fighting with another southpaw regularly, creating and giving yourself the angle. Look how he's always on the angle and trying to trip over his leg. Those are the things that you can tell he's just got a lot of rounds with the southpaw, and all his combinations led to getting to the body and then tripping. See how he keeps grabbing the leg and tripping the other way? All his combinations end that way. So it's combo, 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 get into the pocket, trip. See how he keeps stepping behind the lead leg of Arnold Allen? That's a tricky southpaw versus conventional combination, and the off balancing of our Arnold Allen is keeping him moving back and throwing off any of the counters. That is a great combination from Arnold Allen. Left high kick, left knee, but it's very conventional. And do you see how he's kind of like always like slipping to the body lock and stuff in Silva? It's just nice. It's not a normal feel. It's like he's like trying to get a hold of a wet fish. And his creativity, how he catches hands, catches feet, spins off of it. It's entertaining to watch. He brings the fight. He's very emotional. How are you timing these elbows over and over? The way he grabs, touches, pulls the head down, that breaks opportunities for counters. His dexterity. I mean, when you're fighting somebody like this and you catch their teep kick like this, watch him catch the kick. It's rare you get a double teep. Like that's fundamentally how you do it. When they catch it, you teep again, and he teeps him right in the face with the second teep. But normally you lift that up and the guy falls backwards. But he's so flexible that it didn't really mess with him. And those are little things that just get annoying over time, round by round. And you can't get a hold of him. He's slick. He's crafty. He's hard to find. He's fast. He's countering well. He's playing head games the whole fight. He's never really stressed, Silva. I don't know if you can tell, but when you watch him, he never looks stressed. He never looks like, when you watch Paddy, you can tell there's like some stress. Look at this trip from the combo. How many times has he done that in this fight? I mean, he's just creative. He makes it fun to watch fight. And I love that about him. It's crazy. And that's jiu-jitsu. And that you practice that. If you got a guy who's staying down in turtle, good black belts will like joke around and they'll ride them like that. And so he's just done a lot of jiu-jitsu. He's had a lot of wrestling, grappling, a lot of jiu-jitsu practice. That's what happens in that sport. That position happens in that sport a lot. So for him to add it to the entertainment, it's slick because Arnold Allen is staying safe here. You see? So if you're staying safe, okay, I'm going to make a game out of you real quick. It's genius. And now that makes him look bad on the scorecards too. And he's always chasing him. Missed him with the kick. So it's those little inches that show the judges that Silva's just a step ahead. And he is very emotional. But I do believe that the emotion that he brings is his tool, is his gift. And it's also what allows him to have fun. It locks him into his fun. Let me tell you about Ultra pouches. They're completely nicotine-free. They're caffeine-free. They're packed with nootropics that are designed for mental clarity, enhanced focus. It has the same kick as a nicotine pouch without the side effects of the buzz, the addiction, the crash, the jitters, the gum rot, all the bad things that happen to you from the nicotine. None of this has it. You're packing yourself full of vitamins. And, it's the beginning of a new year. So many people have all these health goals. Well, let's get off whatever we need to get off, especially the stimulants like coffee, nicotine, even Adderall. It's one of the biggest drugs used right now in the United States. It's legal. But if you want to wean off that stuff and start to get your brain back to the baseline, let's say you want to just get your vitamins and anything in your body back to a baseline meaning how you came into this world without needing the uppers, without needing the downers, without needing the thing to sleep. With the Ultra pouches, you get this tiny little boost of energy and mental clarity that you wouldn't have without them. So make sure you're trying these Ultra pouches and don't replace them with that other stuff. Give it a try and see how it changes your life. Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use code DOM to get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's takeultra.com for 15% off with code DOM. That's DOM. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. The reason why I love the Acorns app is a few different reasons. Number one, I love the roundup feature, which is basically whatever you spend and you put it on the app, it will just round it up. And that little bit of money that might round up, like let's say it's 50 cents or 25 cents, it goes straight to your investments. And that's beyond the fact that the investments gets broken down in chunks where you can filter it. So you know how much risk you want to take, you know how much risk you don't want to take. These are all things that you would sit down and talk to a financial advisor about. What this app does for me is it allows me to be my own financial advisor without really knowing how to do it exactly. The app itself sorts out what I need to learn, my IQ about financial advice, and then I'll take what I learned from the app to my financial advisor for round 2 of it. So you can use either, but once I started using this app, it really helped me understand where I was putting my money, where I was putting it. And then it also helped me to ask my financial advisor the correct questions. Acorns is a smart way to give your money a chance to grow. Acorns is easy. You can sign up in minutes and start automatically investing your spare money, even if all you've got is a little spare change. Acorns grows with you. Whether you're just starting out or thinking about settling down, Acorns supports your big and small goals across every life stage. Sign up now and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/dom or download the Acorns app to get started.
Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns Tier 2. Compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as customers' accounts, age, and investment settings. Does not include Acorns fees. Results do not project or represent the performance of any Acorns portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/dom.
Big shout out to Originals Family Farms. I want to say thank you so much for being the first launch podcast sponsor. You got us taken off the ground. We're going to the sky. And thank you for making me part of the family. So we had Nunes and Kayla Harrison. That fight was chalked to happen. Everybody's saying this is the greatest fight in women's history. And the reason is because Kayla Harrison's in it. Nunes retired with the belt. So I think she decided that she didn't want to come back until she found somebody that was worth fighting, I suppose. But I mean, I don't know. I've never really understood that. Like when you're champion, to me, you don't retire the belt and then come back, because then you're not giving anybody the opportunity to have what you were given the opportunity to have. You just sitting out and not giving the opportunity. Now you got Kayla Harrison, you come back anyways. So what about none of the other girls were worth the opportunity? Why not just highlight reel them all? But she had her own hiatus in life. So maybe she just wanted to go live life, live with her child, all that. But here she is. She came back and wanted to fight Kayla Harrison. And I think the reason why this is such a big fight to talk about is because she retired with the belt, Nunes, and never lost, really. Not really. I mean, she has lost, but she didn't go out losing. And Kayla Harrison has looked just amazing, the way she's been able to bulldoze people. She is so strong. And, she's been able to use the striking that she has to get to the clinch where her judo background is and use it. But her neck, guarantee you through all the judo, I mean, how many times you've been thrown on your head, how many times you use your head for, you're throwing, both your arms are tied up and you land on your face to stop from giving the points. I can't tell you how many times that's happened in my neck. Your neck is all you have for stability. It becomes another, like a third arm. So especially in judo, it's really important to have a strong neck. So no doubt her neck was probably wasted from all the years of judo and fighting mixed together. So she had to finally get it fixed. And rough timing for it. But man, let me tell you, as a champion who's been hurt and who's retained the title, I get it. She's probably been pretty beat up in these last few title fights. She was the title holder in PFL for a while too. So heal up, get well, Kayla. And I look forward to seeing that fight when it happens, because Nunes was a strong champion. And I think the difference in styles is the grappling judo style is obviously very prevalent and simple to see in Kayla Harrison and her size. But I think the speed, the ranginess, and the boxing of Nunes really does present an extremely tough problem for Kayla Harrison, and that's why this fight is touted as one of the ones to really tune into, because it isn't just like Amanda Nunes has been out forever, she's going to look like shit. No, it's like, well, the best Amanda Nunes looks like she could beat the best Kayla Harrison. Is Nunes still as good as she used to be? And now, will Harrison be as good as she was before the neck surgery? So, yeah, that'll be fun when it happens. We've got UFC 325 coming too. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes 2. I don't know if I wanted this fight as much as I wanted to see Lerone Murphy fight Volkanovski. I'm not going to lie. I was ready to see Volkanovski fight somebody different. But from a promotional standpoint, I will say Diego Lopes not only has been promoted more because of their first fight, and there's a storyline, so it gets more eyes on it because of the storyline, and because the knockout that he got over Jan Silva, that is so talked about on that Noche card. That was one of the coolest cards of last year for me, was when he fought Jan Silva. It was an amazing fight. The way that he got performance of the night was because of the way he just was so confident about the beating he could take and still walking through until he got his spinning elbow knockout on Silva. I think that confidence and that win is why this rematch is happening, because we want to see this fight again, because it went to a decision. Diego Lopes got beat, but with this confidence that he has from not only feeling Volkanovski one time, but also then beating Jan Silva, he's on top of the world. I can tell you, as a guy who fought a world champion, I was 9-0, and then I fought Uriah Faber, who had a little bit more experience, a little bit more fights than me. And I went and I fought him. And even though I got finished in the first round, I felt so confident by fighting him. I can't explain it. It gave me more confidence to where I didn't lose again for years. And I see Diego Lopes kind of that way. I see he got to have this fight. He got to have this where he saw what was inside of him in this matchup, in one of the best on the planet. And he knows how good Volkanovski is. So going the distance with him gave him more confidence. Then knocking out Silva, that's why I think he was able to knock out Silva, is because he's saying, I went with Volkanovski for 5 rounds. There's no way Silva's as good as Volkanovski. So that gave him the confidence to go do what he did to Silva. And I think now in this rematch, Diego Lopes has a huge opportunity to get this win, no doubt. Volkanovski looked amazing in his last fight, though. He did a great job getting that win. But I think Diego Lopes can push the pace. As you can see here, he's not out of the fight at any point. He does get pulled and outstruck by getting pulled, because you can see Volkanovski has good footwork, and he's able to pull backwards and fight by landing shots while he's moving back. He pulls, throws, pulls, throws, and he goes both directions. And what Diego Lopes does is he comes so heavy forward in a straight line. You see how he's just coming, and he's chasing. He wants to hurt Volkanovski so bad that Volkanovski is able to use that offensive aggressiveness against him and counter him. So I think this next fight, you're going to see Diego Lopes, he's going to have to play more of a push-pull game. You notice Diego's only going one direction. It's like a straight line, and it's not this. There's not this type of movement, okay? This is the type of movement you have to fight Volkanovski with. That's why Max Holloway and him always had good fights too, because Max fights in and out. But when you fight in and out, it at least makes it hard for Volkanovski to time. And moving in a straight line, Diego's going to have to make that adjustment. But that finish there, I mean, that spinning elbow was because Silva was chasing Diego Lopes the way that Diego Lopes was chasing Volkanovski. And so the way Silva was chasing him, look how he comes on the angle right here. He's heavy, coming hard. And that aggressiveness is what gave Diego Lopes the opening to land that counter. That's basically how Volkanovski was fighting Diego Lopes in their first fight. So I'll be very interested to see if Lopes can make that read with his coaches and the adjustments, that if you go too heavy at Volkanovski, he can fight moving backwards. So you got to play the feint game with Volkanovski. You got to go in, out, and not just chase him. He's really good at pulling you, and he's really good at pulling you into power shots and timing the shots off of it. And he's got good defense too. So that fight's going to be epic. Nobody loses in that as fans. But I will say, Lerone Murphy's coming in. He's fighting. He was in the pool to get this fight against Volkanovski. Not like I'm ever going to be sad to see Diego Lopes rematch with Volk. We win on that one. But yeah, Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evelev, keep a lookout for that fight too. I trained with Lerone Murphy for a long time. The winner of that fight is going to get, I think, the next title shot between these two. And that's definitely, from my experience, going to be the toughest fight in the division for Lerone Murphy's style. So when he fights Evelev, if he can get through that style, that is his kryptonite style. It's a pure grappler with good striking, great defense, but never gets tired, grapples the shit out of you, takes you down, takes you down, takes you down, takes you down. That's the style that would give trouble to Murphy. But Murphy's been filling that gap. He knows that's the gap he had to fill. So he's always training with, guys from Thailand out there, where there's just so many like Russian fighters out there with sick sambo grappling. There's a lot of Kazakhstani guys that go out that way, and then he just trains with the right grapplers in general, Lerone. So I think that he's going to be ready for the wrestling attempts and the grappling attempts of Evelev. But look at the different striking of Lerone Murphy. He's so creative, so fun. He's so rangy. He stays on the outside, the footwork, the stance switches. I mean, you're beating a guy like Barbosa, one of the nastiest kickboxers in the game, like this. Lerone Murphy striking is bar none the top of this division. No question. If you stay purely standing with Lerone Murphy, I promise you're going to have a very miserable fight with him. But like I said, Evelev is not looking to do that. He mixes it super well. So it will be super fun for me as a Lerone Murphy fan and somebody who's trained with him to see how he deals with that level of grappling and how much he's transformed in his game over time. Let's take a look at Evelev too. I mean, there's no holes in these guys' games. They're champions. They just are. They are champions, and that's why the UFC is the Olympics of mixed martial arts, because everybody who fights, by the time you get to the UFC, is championship level, and they're from all over the world, anywhere on earth. And that's why it's so hard to win in this sport and stay winning as long as some of these guys do. And as you can see, this is the type of pressure he likes to put on every one of his opponents. He'll stay connected to you like this for 2 days. He doesn't get tired. He has pressure, and he's still throwing. He'll get right back to it, back on the wrestling. That's what I'm saying. So when you got a guy who's that aggressive with the grappling, it leaves no space for strikes, for being creative, and you get stuck in, like, it feels like a washer machine. Like you're just always on the react. And it gets exhausting. So everything becomes instinctual in the fight when you fight a guy like Evelev. It's not like I can make a read and set up the next thing. Everything has to be like, he touches me, boom, this is my instinct. So if you don't prepare for an instinctual fight with the highest level cardio ever, you're going to have a miserable fight with Evelev. He's got a nasty jab. He uses the fundamentals well with the 1-2s. Good head movement. I would say that this is going to be a tough fight for Evelev. I think it's a little bit of a tougher fight for Evelev than it is for Murphy in my experience, but I think they are each other's kryptonite. I think all the problems that Evelev brings are the same level of problems that Iceman's going to bring Lerone Murphy to him. So we win on that one too. Great fights coming up, guys. We've had this merger with Paramount Plus, and that I wanted to see how it would be different in this show, because so we had, I don't know how many years with ESPN, and now we switched over to Paramount Plus, and the differences for me weren't much. We get different bosses, but what I'm understanding about Paramount is they're, even if, let's say, they were the bosses of my bosses with Zuffa, IMG, WME, WWE, all these different companies that have been bought up are all now working together. And I feel like they're all saying, they're all going to Zuffa with ideas. And anybody who's been with the UFC is like, look, we know what we're doing. Do you want us to do this or not? And they go, okay. And everybody at Paramount to me has seemed that way. Like UFC knows how to promote. They know how to do the layout of these shows. They know how to produce every little thing about it the way they want to do it. And what's been cool about Paramount is they're not really fighting it. So to me, it almost feels more just fluent. Everything flows a lot better. You know, sometimes with ESPN, it was amazing, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you got a lot of Chiefs and not enough Indians. Like you got all these other people that want to run it. And and you're kind of in like, okay, you got one producer telling you this, another producer telling you this. Now everybody's just working together in one big ship, it feels like. And it's been cool to just be part of it. I'm blessed to get to call fights, so I just roll with the punches. But that's the only thing I can say is it feels like one big family that you're working for. And I think the biggest difference will just be like what Dana has shared, which is the bonuses are different. You get a $100,000 performance bonus. You get a $25,000, 25 to 50. I think it's $25,000 finish bonus, which is knockout or submission. So if you get a finish or a performance of the night fight, you get a lot of money. Not everything, but I mean, $100,000 used to be all you could make sometimes. So now that's just your bonus. If you just go out there and lay your life on the line, you'll get it. So that's cool. UFC 324 Hall of Fame was amazing. I'm still taking it in. I've tried to explain it to you. And I think one of the things, one of my favorite quotes is to complete the circle of giving, you must receive. And I never thought of that growing up because I've always been super good at giving. And I think a lot of us are always so good at, I'm a giver. You hear that all the time. I'm good at giving. And then a lot of those same people, you try to give them something and they won't receive it. I've kind of been that way a big part of my life with any of my accolades, any of my wins. And for whatever reason, I only really want to receive the loss and just take it and hold on to that like it's dear to me. And I don't know what that's about, but this 2026, I'm really working on, man, let's complete the circle of giving by receiving. So I'm receiving all the love from everybody, the fans, the people. It means so much to me. I'm so grateful to have gotten to put a career in front of everybody and get the opportunity to put my whole life on the line in front of you guys to make fun of me or love me. And I'm feeling the love now, so thank you for it. And let's keep giving it away. And don't forget, if you're having a hard time receiving the love, I'm with you. But we have to receive it to complete the circle. So sometimes receiving the love is just as important as giving it. Don't forget that, because how many times has somebody given you a gift and you just said no? Well, it would break their heart, wouldn't it? So that's where I'm working on it. I'm receiving everything. Thank you guys for everything. And let's go 2026.